Hi everyone, this is another timeless reading that's for somebody out there. My intention is that this one will find the person or people it's meant for, and at the right time. It's definitely not intended to be a for everyone reading, so if the storyline that emerges is not resonating with you, it's probably not for you. You can still watch the whole reading though, because it's always an intention of mine that anyone who is drawn to one of my readings will gain something from it. Whether that's an insight, a bit of wisdom, or just the opportunity to see something from a different perspective. So if you happen to be here, I think you are meant to be here, and I hope you will watch the reading. And before we move to our reading, we'll just pause here and do the love pause. And the love pause is basically where we send love out into the universe. And this might be about sending healing, comforting energy to someone who you know is in need of it, or it might just be sending that love energy out generally with the intention of it reaching whoever does need it. And alternatively, you can do a little Ho'oponopono prayer by saying the 4 sentences: thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, and please forgive me. Thank you to everyone who does do the love pause. So you can pause your video now to do it, and then the reading will start on the next slide. All right, so this is the spread for this reading. And I was thinking I might be continuing with the magical decks after the last reading, but actually this time Spirit kind of led me to the Affirmators Tarot deck. And maybe that's to do with the playful energy of this particular deck. But to be honest, I'm actually feeling a lot better than I have been. I feel like the heavy energies of the past few weeks were really weighing me down quite a bit. So in terms of how I am, the anxiety is pretty much gone now. I'm sleeping again, and I started feeling more upbeat today, and that was really nice because it felt like I was myself again. And it actually made me realize that while the anxiety was the thing that was dominating the show, whatever was going on was also kind of sucking the joy out of me. It was like I was stuck under a dark, gloomy cloud or something. And I'm really hoping I've managed to shake it off, because it really wasn't me. So hopefully it's gone. Now back to this. The decks I've used here, I normally have them on a slide at the end of the reading, but I've actually started or decided to list them in the description box instead. And the reason for that change is that I decided to sign up with Amazon's associate program. So I'm very new to it all, but my understanding is that if I've got the links there for the decks I've used here that are available on Amazon, then if any of you would like to purchase a particular deck, you can click on the link and purchase the deck. And it doesn't actually cost you anything extra, but if you use the link that I've provided, then I might receive a commission, and that's as long as it meets Amazon's criteria. So I don't know what to expect from it, but I figured I'm already listing the decks, and it only takes me a couple of extra minutes to add the links in. So I thought I'd give it a go. And obviously there's no pressure or expectation, but if you do decide to use the links, thank you for your support. I will try and put a bit of information in the description box about it as well, so that it's there. And I should also say that it's my understanding that the link should take you to the appropriate Amazon site for where you live, so that you're able to pay in the currency that you would normally use and take advantage of free shipping if you have the Amazon Prime subscription. But having said that, I'm a total beginner, so if that's not what happens when you click on the link, please do let me know, and I won't say that anymore. Okay, so I'll get on with the reading now. The crystal in the spread is rhodochrosite, and the card at the bottom of the deck here is the Ace of Cups, which is lovely. So this is a card that is about events or experiences that make you feel happy and loved, and not just a little bit, because I see this card as about your cup being filled to the point where it's overflowing. And the way I always picture it, the fact that your cup is overflowing is meaning that you're splashing all this good stuff into other people's cups without even realizing it. And that might sound messy, but it's actually not, because the thing you're splashing into other people's cups is actually positivity. And so that means that your happiness is going to lift other people's spirits and make them feel good as well. So that's a really wonderful energy. I have to admit, though, I looked at the spread and I just couldn't see how the Ace of Cups fit with the rest of the spread, because they look to be some tough energies here. But I guess I'll trust the process. For those of you who are new viewers, I channel when I write, which is why I use this format on YouTube. So I'm hoping that I'll start writing and this Ace of Cups will start to make sense. But the main point is it is the card at the bottom of the deck. So whatever this reading is about, the underlying energy is a positive one. So let's see what happens. Now, before I move on to the other cards, I do tend to see the Ace of Cups as a Cancerian energy because I always see the aces as cardinal sign energy, and the suit of cups obviously relates to water signs. So to me, I would kind of think of Cancerian energy because it's cardinal water energy. Now, the card in the past position here is the Page of Swords, and this is air sign energy. So it can officially relate to any air sign, but this is, again, I just have my own system, so I tend to read this one as Gemini. The Page of Swords to me is someone who is curious and intellectual, someone who likes to learn about things and figure out how things happen. And it's also someone who's engaging and interesting. So they're a bit of a social butterfly. They love meeting people. They love conversations. So this is all about that air sign love of mental stimulation. And this character does love that. And I'm even getting a bit of a buzz just channeling this particular character. And that's because that's just something that happens to me as an empath. So I tend to feel the energy of some things. And this one's coming through strongly as quite a lively energy. But then now we're getting to these tougher cards. So we get to the present position, and this person is now in the Ten of Wands energy. And this card is showing us a camel. So I guess I feel like they're a beast of burden here. They're carrying heavy load, and I'm sure it's smothering their spark because the Ten of Wands is someone who's really weighed down by problems and expectations and responsibilities. And in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith image, the person's bent over by the weight of these wands, but they're doing what they see as the right thing to do. They're continuing to carry the wands. The fact that it's a number 10 card, though, means that this energy is ending. So in the traditional image, they have almost reached the place they're heading towards. And when they reach that place, they will obviously be able to put the wands down and rest and recover from whatever this tough period has been about. So having this card in the present position, things might still be tough right now, but this is the home stretch, so that's a good thing. Now, the card in the future spot is the Eight of Swords, and this card is about mindset traps. And because of the fact that we're coming from the Ten of Wands, I feel like what this is saying is that even when the tough phase is over, it can take a bit of time for someone to realize that it is over. And I think this is an energy that we can all relate to if we've ever been through that kind of really tough period of time. So even if things change, there's a lingering doubt that it might not really be over. And I always find examples help. And I feel like I'm going to actually have to give you guys a personal example because this is a bit close to the truth for me because I've had a really tough period over the last few years. So on top of being a busy working mum, I've also had aging parents and in-laws having serious health issues. I've had my children have problems with injuries and health things, and they've needed procedures. My husband was unemployed for a period of time, and then I eventually got diagnosed with a chronic illness myself after sort of well over a year of not feeling well. And I've had to navigate all of that with very little kind of external support. So that's been the story of the past few years. But obviously since then, my husband has got a job and some of those health things are much more under control. So it could well be that for me, the worst is behind me. But to be honest, I really can't say that I feel like the worst is behind me because there's a part of me that always, I mean, not always, but still keeps thinking, is there more? Is something else going to go wrong? And I know that's not a great attitude because obviously it's true that if you are expecting bad things, you might actually end up attracting and manifesting them. But I think it's natural for us humans. So you have that tough experience where it's struggle after struggle after struggle. And when that happens, you can just start to get a little bit pessimistic because it hasn't been a series of good things, has it? So I think it's very human. And I guess that's what I'm seeing this mindset trap here as being related to. So even though this person might get to the place they're going, they might offload their wands, but they're still not feeling unburdened at a mental and emotional level. So even though they're aware that it's possible the worst is behind them, that's not something they're feeling particularly certain about. And that's sort of keeping them a little bit stuck. So I guess if I was to go back to my personal example, if my husband was to now suggest that we take a 2-week road trip around the state in the next sort of set of school holidays, now technically that wouldn't be impossible, but there would definitely be a part of me that would be thinking, what if we're away and one of my parents ends up in hospital again? I mean, I wouldn't be able to get back quickly, and they would have to manage it all on their own until I did get back. So yeah, I guess those are the sorts of thoughts that we're talking about with this Eight of Swords in the future position. So, and I guess to be honest, I'm not sure I really would be game to go on a 2-week road trip because my parents have had quite a few unexpected hospital admissions. So it's funny. It's funny that it's a ram in this image too, because I happen to be an Aries. So I wonder if this part of the reading is spirit giving me a poke in the ribs. Because let's face it, a few swords shouldn't really stop a ram from moving forward if it wants to move forward. All it really needs to do is put its head down and go, and it wouldn't even really get hurt because its horns would just knock those swords right out of the way. So I guess maybe Spirit is sending me a personal message to stop letting pessimistic thinking in relation to the future stop me from enjoying my life or doing the things that I want to do or having the experiences that I want to have. And similarly, for whoever this reading is for, because they're also going to have this Eight of Swords experience in their future, and it's important that they also don't get stuck in a pessimistic mindset where they're still expecting things to continue to be difficult. Because the truth is that, maybe while they're expecting things to be difficult, things are actually starting to improve in their life. And if they're stuck in that pessimism, they'll be failing to make the most of those improved conditions. Sorry, I paused the video just then to sort my dog out. He's now on the couch next to me, so hopefully he's sorted. But this reading, yes, it's been interesting, but I've got to the end of the tarot cards and I can't say I've uncovered a connection to the Ace of Cups in that lot of cards. So maybe that one will start to make sense in the oracle cards. And I'm already kind of seeing something because there is a bright pink card here, and that is a heart chakra color. And now that I look at the Ace of Cups, there is actually a color match between that bright pink card and the 4 cups in the corners of the Ace of Cups card. So I'm guessing that is the card that will tell us about this Ace of Cups. Now, the interesting thing is the card here is actually titled Disruption. And to me, that's a word that makes me think of Tower card energy where something suddenly changes or collapses. And in this reading, I feel like that is saying this Ace of Cups feeling is going to come in very quickly and unexpectedly, and that's awesome. Because the disruption here is to the way the person has been feeling. So it's actually a positive disruption because they haven't been feeling good. Now, this might be because there's something really positive that happens suddenly, but I don't know if it is that because the last oracle card here is titled Bust Out of Your Cocoon, and that image shows someone climbing out of a tower. And it's a pretty similar message in terms of the image that's on the Eight of Swords card as well, because again, that was someone stuck and needing to get out of there. So with this disruption and tower card energy, we're talking about towers twice here. And if the tower's coming down, then that is the end of that stuck, restricted feeling that this person has had. And it's coming down quickly with tower card energy. So, so I think it's something not necessarily an external thing, but something this person chooses to do. And even the phrase bust out of your cocoon is a metaphor for that moment when a butterfly sets itself free. I mean, it's not an external event that allows the butterfly to get free. It's the butterfly essentially discovering that it is stronger than the structure that is confining it. So it's exactly the same as when I was talking about the ram, understanding that barrier of swords is a bit of a joke because, well, he's a ram. So this Ace of Cups feeling, I think, is going to come in when this person finally realizes that really there's no need for them to feel stuck. It is just a mindset trap. And it's coming through as a Tao moment, as I said, so I feel like it's going to be like a light bulb moment of realization. And that realization will then completely shift their perspective and outlook. And then it's Ace of Cups time, I guess. So that's lovely, actually. And now I get to my second challenge for this spread, and this is the last Oracle card. So just like the Ace of Cups card at the bottom of the deck, I wasn't really sure how this fit into anything. So I laid it out, but saw this card and I went, oh, I don't know what that's about. But it is in an important spot because when you look at it, it's fairly central to this reading. And it just didn't seem to connect to the other cards, however. So I pretty much started this reading with two cards that my mind was struggling to work out how they fit in, how they connected. And ironically, of course, this card is Spider Woman with the keyword universal connection. So I think this is partly my spirit guides being cheeky because it's got the word connection there and I can't see the connection. But I will try and get to it. I'll have a little Google search of the Spider Woman because I think she's related to Native American culture and I would like to know what her story is. And I'll get to that in a moment. But first, I'm just going to mention what I'm feeling seeing this card. So I'm seeing this woman as an elder, and that's giving me crone energy. So that's obviously the manifestation of divine feminine energy in the form of the wise old woman. Now, she also seems to be meditating, and so I felt like it was through meditation that she's experiencing her connection to everything, all that is. And that's because that's what universal connection is all about. And it obviously made me think of the crown chakra because that is the chakra through which we experience this connection. And then I started to think about the symbolism of spiders and spider webs. So spiders to me symbolize, independence, self-reliance, and industriousness. So they weave these incredibly strong webs from silk that they themselves produce. And these webs then have multiple purposes. They allow the spiders a place to rest. They allow them to effectively create little air bridges from one spot to another. And they also allow them to catch the food that they're going to eat. Now, spiders also don't live in groups, really. So they really are sort of strong, self-sufficient individuals. And spider webs, well, they symbolize connection well because any point in a web has a path that's connecting it to any other point in the same web. And that's actually an interesting message coming through there because we're talking about an incredibly independent creature that then creates a structure that is all about connections. And even the word web, has very broad meanings to us in society now because we use the World Wide Web to connect, and we connect in so many ways to so many things and with so many people from all over the world. And so the spider web is also making me think of all the networks we become part of, whether they're in person or online. And that was all very interesting. But then I finally realized, wait a minute, we've got a web and a cocoon being described in this spread. And both of these structures relate to specific creatures, and they are actually structures that are created by those creatures themselves. And I think it was at this point that I started to see something that could be meaningful in the spread. And it's to do with how different these structures are. So a caterpillar creates a cocoon and it essentially traps itself within this cocoon. So its freedom is gone because it's created this cocoon. Now, a web, on the other hand, the spider creates it and it actually allows the spider the ability to be incredibly self-reliant. And I guess we could consider that a structure that's giving a spider even more freedom. So I feel like the message that this wise old woman has been wanting us to uncover is that we also need to be aware that we're also creating structures that affect our lives. And if you can start to see the point that's coming through here, I don't think you'll be able to unsee it. So the questions I'm getting here are, what are your life structures doing to you? What are they doing to your life? Are they restricting your freedom or are they granting you more freedom? Have you built cages that keep you stuck? Or have you built multifunctional air bridges that allow you to look after yourself and all of your needs and allow you to experience true freedom? And I guess that's something that we can all reflect on. But more importantly, now that we've gained this particular insight, I guess we have to decide if we're going to do something with it, because from this point on, we can now choose to be conscious structure builders, if you know what I mean. And that's if we want to be. So we can ask ourselves if the structure that we're contemplating or considering building, is that structure going to mean more or less freedom? Is it going to open up our world or make it smaller? So very, very interesting that this has come up. And I guess there's also the question of what do you do with old structures? I mean, I guess it's up to you. I mean, only you can know if they're meant to stay or go. Like, are they serving you or not serving you? Because, even if it's a cocoon, some people like that. Some people, they consider their cocoon to be a very cozy place that they absolutely love being in. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like if it's a cocoon that you're happy in, then there's nothing wrong with that. My personal feeling, though, is it's when you're not happy that you need to figure out what that unhappiness is drawing your attention to. And from personal experience, it's not necessarily the thing that you think it is. So I've often found, I'll start off thinking it's this thing that's making me unhappy, but then, if I keep, looking at it and studying it, it ends up going back. It has these deep roots that go way back. And I think often for a lot of us, it goes all the way back to childhood experiences or programming that we've received as children. So it can actually take a lot of unraveling before you get to the real issue. So, don't just hone in on this is what's making me unhappy and think that changing that is going to necessarily change the future, because it probably won't. But if you do get to the nitty gritty of the true source of what's making you unhappy, then that's something you can correct, and then you're able to consciously create a better future from that point. And I think that's the end of the reading. Oh, sorry, I forgot to Google the Spider Woman. I will be back in a second. Okay, so I just looked up the Spider Woman, and it's interesting because these days you just get this AI generated blurb, don't you? So I might just paraphrase that one. Because I guess AI's already kind of summarized it all. But it said the Spider Woman is someone who features in the mythologies of a number of Native American tribes, and she's believed to have the power to influence creation and destruction. And she's also a spiritual guide and protector, and someone who helps humans learn survival skills. Thanks, AI. But anyway, because we've been talking about creating and possibly dismantling structures in this reading, so I guess that probably does fit with creation and destruction. And with that mention of teaching humans survival skills, I kind of flashed to the image of how resilient and independent and self-reliant spiders are. So maybe I can see connections here to the Spider Woman. So if you wanted to, if you're, relating with this reading, you could graciously ask the Spider Woman if she could guide you through the process of transforming your life into a more positive experience. Now, that might sound weird, but I actually do things like that quite a bit, because I do think universal connection is a real thing. So I personally believe we can connect to any energy using the power of our intention. And really, that's what we do when we pray, isn't it? So what I do is I'll often speak to a specific spiritual energy if there's something I need help with and it's related to their area of expertise. So it might be Lord Ganesha if I'm dealing with challenges. It might be Mother Mary if I'm needing comfort. Goddess Isis if I need a solution to something that feels impossible. Jesus Christ if I find I'm reacting too much in anger in a particular situation and I feel like I need to uncover or reveal or feel a bit more compassionate about it. Archangel Michael if I feel like I need protection. And to be honest, with the recent experiences I was talking about with the anxiety, I was actually reaching out to Buddha to help me with my ability to meditate myself back to an inner sense of calm. So this sort of reaching out to specific energies is something I do. It just feels right to me. And I guess you can also give it a try if you want to and see how it goes. All right, well, that's the end of the reading. I did take out the slide where I normally have the decks used. So as I said before, that's all in the description box now. But yeah, thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, please show your support by liking the video, making a comment, sharing the video, or by subscribing if you'd like to see more of my work in the future. Now, if you do like these videos, you can watch some of the ones I've already uploaded. I do new moon and full moon readings, but almost all of my other videos are intended to be timeless readings. If you would like to check out my blog page on Facebook, that little thumbnail image on the right shows you what it looks like. And obviously your support over there is also very welcome. And finally, I'd like to thank everyone who's already subscribed to the channel. Your support means so much to me. And really, that's it, everyone. I hope that I'll see you all at another reading. Take care. Bye.